If you've been around a shop for any length of time, you most certainly have noticed that most saws are missing the single most important piece of safety equipment, the blade guard. Employees frequently remove guards as they mistakenly feel that guards get in the way or obstruct their vision. Let's face it, accidents just happen too fast for you to react when working with a power saw. The knowledgeable saw operator knows that there's little need to view the work near the blade. A carefully measured piece and well-placed rip fence generally eliminates the need to view work near the blade. If the guard must be removed for difficult cuts such as rabbiting, dadoing, or molding, replace it immediately after the operation is completed. Table saws have the capability of making many useful cuts. Table saws must be secured to the floor or working surface to prevent the saw from walking during use. Your saw and working area should be kept clean and free of excess sawdust and debris. All saws should be grounded with an approved 3-conductor cord and ground plug. If the saw is unplugged from time to time, be sure it's in the off position before plugging it in. Never turn on a saw unless the table is clear of all tools and debris. Fires are always a possibility in any woodworking shop, so housekeeping is important. Be sure you know where your fire extinguisher is located and you know how to use it. Before using your table saw, be sure to wear the proper safety equipment. Safety goggles are required to protect against flying wood chips and debris. Street glasses should not be used as they afford no protection against flying debris. Hearing protection is necessary due to the high noise levels generated during use. Long-sleeve shirts should be rolled up above the elbow, and gloves should never be worn, as your hand can easily be pulled into a spinning blade. In addition, never place your face or body in line with the blade. Saw blades must be kept sharp, as dull blades can bind, allowing the material to kick back, causing an accident. When using a table saw to cut oversized material, outfeed tables should be used to control large pieces of wood. When practical, it's a good idea to use clamps to secure work. It's safer than using your hand and frees both hands to operate the saw. Before operating any saw, be sure you're thoroughly familiar with the operation and safety features of the saw you plan to use. In addition, a knowledge of all the parts of the saw is important. All saws should have a blade guard installed. If it's missing, be sure to contact the manufacturer for a replacement. If one's not available, refer to the OSHA standard before fabricating a guard. The guard assembly consists of a splitter which pushes the material apart to help prevent binding, and anti-kickback fingers which prevent material from being kicked back toward the operator during use. The blade guard is usually made of clear plastic or of metal. Replace plastic guards when they become heavily scratched. Kickbacks can occur during a rip-type operation, causing the material to be thrown back at you with tremendous force. Kickbacks can usually be prevented by keeping the rip fence parallel to the saw blade, keeping the saw blade sharp and cleaning it if it becomes gummy, replacing kickback fingers when they become dull, keeping the guard assembly in place, assuring the spreader is aligned with the blade, never ripping work that is warped or twisted, using a push stick for ripping widths of 2 to 6 inches and a push block for ripping widths narrower than 2 inches, using the miter gauge to accurately cut angles and small pieces of material, and not releasing work until you have pushed it all the way through the blade. The best way to avoid contact with the blade is, of course, to avoid putting your fingers and hand near the business end of the saw. Pulling the saw too quickly is a leading cause of accidents as well. When cutting, be sure to slowly pull the saw through the material. As with table saws, the guard assembly should never be removed. In addition, radial arm saws should be outfitted with a spring or other device to return the saw to the original position when released. When cutting, be sure to know the limits of the saw blade. When making difficult cuts, watch for the notches cut into the table to help reference where the blade will travel. When setting up the saw for ripping material, again, be sure the guard assembly, anti-kickback fingers, and splitter are in place. As with the table saw, be sure your hands and body are well away from the blade. Keep the palm of your hand on the table to help prevent accidental blade contact. Working safely with table and radial arm saws is really no big secret. Let common sense prevail and be sure to use all the safety equipment and devices available to make you an injury-free employee. Thank you.